Hello, my name is Nicole Kurtz. In this presentation, I'll share my DEI Leadership Development Plan. I'll reflect on my own strengths and weaknesses, how identity has shaped me as an emerging leader, explore my individual development, and discuss an interview which gave me a new perspective for building inclusive teams. I'll also take a look at diversity at the organizational and community levels. Let's begin. My DEI leadership strengths are perseverance, empathy, adaptability, and cultural awareness. Perseverance comes from proving my value as I established my career in the federal government. Empathy helps me listen and support others, while adaptability and cultural awareness come from living abroad for 2 decades, learning the German language, social systems, and culture while working with people from very diverse backgrounds. A weakness I continue to work on is implicit bias, which I'll discuss in more detail on the next slide. Finally, an internal and external factor of diversity, which played a large role in the development of my identity, are age and geographic location. As I mentioned earlier, I overcame age bias as I began my career, and living overseas gave me a broader perspective that continues to shape who I am today. The implicit association test, or IAT, measures unconscious associations. My results showed a moderate bias linking men with leadership and career roles and women with family roles. I also showed bias associating negative words with people who are overweight. Although these results were surprising, they made me realize I do have implicit bias. I am now aware that even with good intentions, I can still unconsciously respond in ways that negatively affect others. Recognizing this was uncomfortable, but important for my growth as an inclusive leader. To address bias, I focus on humility and openness, admitting blind spots exist. I use metacognition, pausing to examine my thought patterns before making decisions. Inclusive dialogue is also essential because open conversations about bias create space for fairness and belonging in the workspace. While researching for my DEI leadership plan, I interviewed a well-respected supervisor at my workplace, U.S. Army Tank Automotive and Armaments Command, or TACOM. I wanted to learn what qualities and practices she thought are most important for leading in a diverse workplace. One of her biggest lessons was the value of keeping a mission-first focus. She explained that when leaders remind teams that they have a shared purpose, diversity becomes a strength that unites people. She also stressed the importance of equity through knowledge sharing and transparency, making sure everyone has access to the same information and opportunities. Finally, she emphasized how leaders must be conscious to actively listen with empathy and be a mediator in fair conflict resolution. Skills I want to fine tune as a leader to build inclusive and motivated teams. At the organizational level, I looked at my workplace, TACOM, to see how DEI efforts are being managed. Programs like Project Inclusion and the Army People Strategy aim to support equity and eliminate bias. But recent policy changes, including multiple executive orders to dismantle DEI initiatives, have made it harder to build an inclusive workplace. To broaden my perspective, I compared Taycom with General Motors. GM has made progress with employee resource groups and pay equity, but also faced setbacks when it pulled DEI programs due to political pressure. My takeaway is that lasting inclusion depends on constant dialogue, accountability, and leadership that prioritizes transparency even when the climate is difficult. As an HR professional, supporting initiatives that bring diverse talent from the community to federal careers is central to my DEI leadership plan. One example is the BEA Career Fair, which stands for Becoming Everything You Are. It is one of the largest minority STEM recruitment events in the country, and TACOM uses it to connect diverse candidates directly with open positions through rapid hiring. Community partnerships like this build trust and create opportunity. By collaborating with universities, veterans groups, and industry partners, organizations strengthen credibility while supporting diverse career paths. Extending DEI beyond the workplace ensures inclusion has a lasting impact on both the workforce and the community. In closing, my DEI leadership development plan has shown me that effective leadership starts with self awareness and recognizing our own biases. At a managerial and organizational level, inclusion grows through empathy, transparency, and accountability. And beyond the workplace, community engagement builds trust and opportunity. My goal is to lead in a way that values people, strengthens teams, and uses DEI frameworks to lead effectively across differences. Thank you very much for your time.